Welcome back, my Duelist friends. TGIF, happy Friday. It's almost the weekend, and we've got something a little bit different today. Obviously, you guys know we're going to be doing a Tindangle deck, but this is actually a viewer submission. The only thing I was asked to modify was how to help the extra deck. They gave me this list with a 5-card extra deck. So we did flesh it out. Yes, there's like 1 or 2 cards that really feel like a meme. But the rest of it's actually pretty standard stuff. Really easy to help you guys like get this going a little bit better. But it's kind of a fun deck. I haven't had too much time to play test it, to be honest with you guys. Haven't really got the table time with it that I should have before doing this video. So there may be 1 or 2 strategies I'm just ignorant to because I just didn't do the due diligence. But I'm trying to get you guys a deck for the rest of the week, every day, just to try to, end Spooktober right. That's all. So this is a 40-card main deck. It is now a 15-card, was 5-card extra deck. Let's go over some cards and what they do. Because before this, this was just kind of another stack of cards to me. Didn't know what they were going to do. First, we're going to start with one of their supporter cards. They were using 2 copies, Terrifying Toddler of Torment. This Fiend flip effect monster has the flip effect of send a Fiend from the deck to the discard. And if this one is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you can then special summon this card in face down defense. Each effect only once per turn. So again, if you go ahead, you set one, like traditional techniques, at least again, like an old school Yu-Gi-Oh, we might throw one of these in defense mode, let the opponent attack, flip, double up our monsters, and then on our turn, start to do stuff. With a couple of the Tindangles, there's a benefit to throwing them away, as you guys will come to see. In this deck list, we are using 1 copy of Angel, and these are all going to be Fiend flips, so I'm going to stop saying that. The effect here is you can special summon a flip monster from the hand or graveyard in face down defense with a different name. Then if it is your opponent's battle phase, end the battle phase. Each of these effects once per turn. And again, what Angel can do for us, Angel flips, summon the toddler and the opponent's phase. Our turn flip, get either the other toddler or whatever else we need to do in order to keep the plays moving. Because again, toddler can send toddler. So already off to a pretty fun start. And again, you guys might change this to have more angels once you guys have seen the rest of the deck. That is your prerogative. We are using 3 copies of Base Gardna. If you control a face-down defense monster, you can special summon this from the hand in defense. You can only special summon 1 of these per turn this way. If a monster is normal or special summoned and is now pointed to by an opponent's link monster, except during the damage step, you may then tribute this to special summon 1 Tindangle from the hand or deck in attack position or face-down defense. And again, very strong 2300, but again, it is a 5-star. Do note that. So again, that's pretty fun. Next up, we're going to be playing 2 copies, and I really hope this is pronounced Doles. This is another 5-star flipper. You can send 1 spell trap from the deck to the graveyard. So this one's going to be like Foolish Burial Goods, as opposed to Terrifying Toddler's Foolish Burial. If this is sent from the hand or the deck to the graveyard, you may target 1 Tindangle in the graveyard with a different name. Special summon it in face down defense. Each of the preceding effects once per turn. And a Tindangle link monster that uses this as material can make 3 attacks during each battle phase. And again, since they do have the acute Cerberus, you will try to do this as one of your materials. Next up, single copy of Hound. Flip, target 1 other face-up monster on the field. Gains attack equal to the target's original attack. Then change that target to face-down defense. Again, this kind of stops it from being totally broken. However, we can go ahead and set our own cards. Just has to be another face-up. Doesn't have to be the opponent's. And then each monster the opponent controls loses 1,000 attack for each monster linked to it. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, target 1 face-down monster card on the field and change it to face-up defense. So again, maintaining the defense, but activating another flip effect, as this deck is prone to do. We will be using 3 copies of the Tindangle Intruder. This one says, flip, add 1 Tindangle card from deck to hand, and this is important, because again, this allows for the spells and the traps. When this is normal summoned, you can send 1 Tindangle card from deck to grave. If a monster or monsters is special summoned to your field in face-up defense while this is in the graveyard, special summon this card in face-down defense. Not an option. Each effect is only once per turn, but it does mean he is going to recur for us. So again, very good, especially with the flip search. Then we're going to need 3 copies. And again, I'm going to hope that this is drought. During the flip, take 1 flip monster from the deck with a different name and choose to either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Again, this could allow us to get the Intruder in the discard pile rapidly, so we could start juggling that card. Or again, this could allow us to just go ahead and build up our hand. If this is in the hand, we can discard 1 other card to send 1 Tindangle from the deck to the graveyard, except drought. And if we do, special summon the drought in face down defense position. Again, allowing us to get the flip, as well as loading up our discard. Each of these effects is once per turn. And again, once he was released, this deck kind of coalesces more than it did without him. So it does become a little bit better. We do get Protector. When this flips, you can change up to 3 face-down defense position monsters you control to face-up defense. Then if all of those are Tindangle monsters, you can add that many Tindangle cards from the deck to the hand. Use this effect only once per turn. Again, this one's a little harder to get to go off, so just a single copy here. And then to round out the rest of our monsters, we're going to be running 3 copies of Tindangle Trinity. When this one flips, you can special summon 1 base card from your deck. If this was flipped face up, your Tindangle monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material for a link summon of a Tindangle, you may add 1 Geargone's End from the deck to the hand. If you do, send 1 spell trap from the deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. And again, so it's going to help us really forward out a lot of the strategy. So guys, real quick, go ahead, take the photo, the screenshot, or go ahead and pause and just kind of take the notes. What we'll do is just kind of stagger them, because these guys are not as easy to know off of their arts. Let's see, sets. Oh my goodness, let me just do this again like this. So let me pause it, I'll do it, and then you could do your thing. There we go. With movie editing, we can go ahead and do that. There we go. This way you know how many of each based on cards stacked. So again, screenshot or the notes, you do your thing, and I will be back with the spells and the traps, because not that many spells, believe it or not. So just one more moment. All right, we're back. And this time I'm actually going to stack the cards like that to start. I'm just going to try to make this one easier. So again, we were going to be using 2 copies of Euler's Circuit. Now this is our field spell. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack if you control 3 or more Tindangles. Once per turn during the standby phase, you can target a Tindangle that you control. Give control of it to the opponent. You can banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 Tindangle to add 1 Euler's Circuit from your deck to the hand, and you can only use this effect once per turn. And again, why would we give our opponent a Tindangle? Honestly, just to bash a monster. If you're going to go for like a game scenario, if you have enough attack power to get over something, that's fine. But again, if we just go over their stats real quick, Angels only get the 500 attack. Gardner's got the 0 attack. Doles is 1,000. Hound has a 0 defense. Intruder has a 0 defense. Drought has a 0 attack. Protector's got an 800 attack. And Trinity has a 0 attack. So again, there is a bunch of opportunities to just go ahead and set yourself up for some big swings, just based on that alone. which again makes this deck like really kind of fun to play. Next up is going to be the continuous spell Nagel's Protection. We're going to run a full play set of this. Tindangle monsters in your main zones cannot be destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effects. Once per turn, if your Tindangle monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, damage is doubled. Hey, guess what? So again, those 0 attacks that we're sending over there, we're going to get double damage. So think Blue Eyes Chaos Max, except it's built into the deck. Additionally, you can banish this card from the graveyard, discard 1 Tindangle to add another copy of this from the deck to the hand. Each use that effect once per turn. So again, Nagel's Protection really going to keep coming at itself. And then again, you guys should know the Pot of Duality. Excavate 3, and then add 1 to your hand. Shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can't special summon that turn. So once you can fit yourself into a control form, this is what you're going to use. So just real quick, maybe you guys wrote this one down or not. Go ahead, get the notes and stuff, and then I'll be right back with the trap cards. So just uno momento, por favor. All right, mille grazie. We're back with the traps. So real quick, the traps, they do feel a little weird for something that I would play, but I got to admit that they're growing on me, and I love the control aspects of this. But there are certain things I would modify here, and I will give you those recommendations just like right afterward. So like first up, 2 copies compulsory evacuation device. We all know this. Flip, target a monster on the field, bounce it back to the hand. And again, perfect. I like it. As long as the monster that you're trying to bounce doesn't self-protect and can be targeted, then this is a good out. If not, maybe there's some work we could do here. But again, it is what it is. It is a fun way to do some things. We are playing a single copy of Girgon's End, so we need to actually talk about this one. Again, we could search this, so just 1. Target 1 Tindangle Link monster that you control, equip this card to it. It may not be destroyed by battle or card effects. The opponent cannot target it with card effects. Once per turn, if there are monsters in all zones the equipped monster points to. What the heck? Once per turn, if there are monsters in all zones the equipped monster points to. If there are still monsters in all zones that it points to, you can destroy this card, and all those monsters then inflict damage to the opponent equal to the equipped monster's attack before they were destroyed. Really weird way of saying that there's a bunch of protection and that the effect fails to resolve if those monsters don't remain there while you're trying to resolve it. But okay, that was weird. 3 copies of Subterror Succession. And I know, some people are getting PTSD because they heard Subterror. Mostly my friends. 2 effects here. Activate 1 of these effects, and after that, reset this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. Effect 1, send a monster from the hand or face up on the field to the grave. If due, add 1 flip monster from deck to hand, same attribute, different name than the one before it was sent to the graveyard. So we are counting what's on the field. So again, if there's some modifier in play, like Layer of Darkness, this could affect how you'd have to play this. And second effect, send a flip monster from the hand or field face up to the graveyard. And if you do, add a monster from the deck to the hand with the same attribute but a lower original level than the monster was before it was sent to the graveyard. And again, one thing that could do that is either the cost down spell card, because it does affect for the entire turn, or Legendary Ocean. Could affect that. Not in this deck. I do not believe any of these boys were water. Looking through it. No, they're all dark. So even the Layer of Darkness really wasn't a good, like an explanation, just based on what we have here. We are going to run 3 copies of the Tindangle Duelist. When you take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, while you have 3 or more Tindangles with different names in the graveyard, destroy the attacking monster, and if you do, special summon 1 acute Cerberus from the extra deck. If you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, you may banish this card from the graveyard, then target 3 Tindangles with different names in the graveyard to special summon them in face down defense position. So again, this is really great. This can help us set up for a bunch of like big link boards, or just simply going into the acute Cerberus since it is a link 3. Remaining cards, we do have 1 copy Torrential Tribute. Again, kind of a big fan, as long as the opponent's monster doesn't have a protection or the ability to negate stuff. and 3 copies of World Legacy Pawns. This continuous says you could target one face-down one face-down monster that you control. Change it to face-up attack or defense, which is really the only thing that we're going to do with this. The rest of that's all for crawlers. So no real reason to go over that. Now, again, things I might change here. We do have that new Lunar Eclipse book. Was printed in, I want to say it was Lightning Overdrive, and reprinted this year in the Megatint. Could be very good. It's essentially the Twin Twister version of Book of Moon, or Book of Eclipse, if you guys remember that. Book of Eclipse will actually set all monsters during the end phase, though. The opponent's monsters will flip face up, and they actually draw per monster that they flip. But it is a good way to get our cards back down again, and stopping an entire round of attack if we want. Again, if they don't have any negates, or they do, but they couldn't respond to it for some reason, it's a good way to get a bunch of monsters face down real quick to not have to deal with them. So just one moment. I'm going to clear the field one more time. We're going to come back with the extra deck. I'm going to start with the 5 that they had. Then we'll go from there. So just one more second. All right, so let's go over that extra deck, shall we? First up, 2 copies of the Acute Cerberus. Requires 3 Tindangles. Gains 3,000 attack if you have 3 or more Tindangles with different names in the graveyard, including Base Gardna. So Base Gardna has to be in there in order for that to count, which is fine. It's very easy to do in this deck. Gains 500 additional attack for every Tindangle that it points to. At the end of the battle phase, if this card declares an attack, you may special summon 1 Tindangle token. It is a 1-star Dark Fiend worth 0/0. So again, 2 of the in-deck boss card. 2 cards that need no real introduction. Those would be the Nightmare Phoenix, the Nightmare Unicorn, and that's going to be joined this time with the Nightmare Griffin. So this is 2+ monsters, different names. When linked, summon, discard a card. Target a spell trap in the graveyard, set it to the field. Cannot be activated this turn. And then the normal co-linking, redraw cards, and all that jazz. Again, what this could do for us is this could reset the Gagon's End if we had to do that, especially since we can reverse tutor using this, because we do have the ability to throw our spell traps to the graveyard. Now for some of the cards that make sense. And again, I know that I don't need to explain a lot of these. I added my Appaloosa, my Boral Sword Dragon. I added my IP Masquerena. I added my Nightmare Cerberus. And I'm realizing I'm just doing the same thing again. So let's just go ahead and get the names flowing and going. At least this time. And then next time I'll forget about it. I'm using my Avermax this time, the Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. And then I've got some meme cards that need just a little bit of justification here. One of those being the Master King Archfiend. I just really wanted to play this card. It is a Link 2 of Fiends. Once per turn during the standby phase, you pay 500 life points or destroy this. Once per chain, if you pay life points, you can send a Fiend monster from the deck to the graveyard with attack or defense equal to the amount paid. Again, since we do have that 500, let's see what we could send. You could send your Angel, which would be kind of silly. And I want to say that's it. I don't think anybody has a 500 defense. No. So Angel could be sent using the Master King Archfiend. The better part of this is once per chain, if a Fiend monster is sent to the graveyard, except damage, you can roll a 6-sided die to apply the following effect on one of the monsters based on the result. If it's a 1, you can add it back to your hand. 2 through 5, you can shuffle it into your deck, and a 6 allows you to special summon it. He's really in here to be part of a meme. It just is what it is. Another one of those, 5-headed Link Dragon, because why not? We're literally just making, a 5-monster Link that says that you must banish 5 cards from your graveyard face down, or send this card to the graveyard. It's non-optional, but it is a 5k beat stick that's just like a what if. and then 2 copies of Subterra Behemoth Fiendus. So this is 2 flip monsters. We can ignore the first sentence because we're not using Subterrors. During the main phase, we can send a flip monster from the deck to the graveyard. If we do, special summon 1 monster from the hand in face down defense to a zone this points to. This is actually very good and should be ran in this deck. So, Anonymous Duelist, I hope that you are going to run this one at least. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn, if a monster this card points to is flip face up, add a flip monster from the deck of the graveyard to your hand. So again, this one actually has a couple of good plays, which is why I put as many that I had in here. Guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I try not to make too much of a point of playing decks I haven't actually play tested yet. More than like 2 games. So this is kind of a one and only. I do hope that everybody enjoyed this. If you guys did, couple of things. Please support the channel. How do you do that? Well, you don't have to pay me anything. Instead, a quick thumbs up and maybe a comment goes way further with me than asking for anything else. Unless you want to subscribe, maybe. Either way, you don't have to do any of that. What I do want you guys to do is I want you guys to go have a great day. I want you to get excited. Maybe I will do the deck that I've been asked the last 2 spooky seasons for. I think I actually just picked up the rest of the cards. Been sorting through a bunch of stuff, and maybe we'll have that for you guys tomorrow. Not just me explaining a card during tech analysis. So have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. See you later, my friends.